Hi everybody. Next I'm going to make some graphic candles for the holidays. I'm sure you've all seen them in the stores and they charge an arm and a leg for them. So I actually found a tutorial for them on one of my favorite spots, as you now know, graphicsfairy.blogspot.com. And I made a bunch of them last year to sell at holiday fairs, and they went over really, really well. And you don't need a whole lot to do it. I don't have any ready-made to show you, but we are going to go through the process so you'll be able to see it finished. Been a little while since I've done it, so I hope this works. But what you need: candles. I have white and ivory here. The lighter colors work best. I have tried it with the darker colors and not so much. But these are just from the dollar store. And you can actually get them by the case there too, which is really nice. You just probably have to ask them to get it for you, or you can order them online. You will need some basic kitchen parchment paper, white tissue paper, a piece of cardstock, a pair of scissors, and a heat gun. And what you're going to do is create your image, size it. I've sized these. I think these are 3-inch candles. So these are graphics that I already had in my computer. And I used Krylon's Easy Tack spray and sprayed it on the piece of cardstock. Laid a piece of blank white tissue paper on top of it, smoothed it down, and then trimmed right around the edges of the cardstock. So you do want to have it as smooth as you can get it. Whatever end is going to feed into your printer, you want to make sure that that is secured down pretty well, that you don't have anything loose right on that edge. This is the first time I've used the laser printer for this, but I have really jammed up my inkjet printer really bad before because those ends weren't secured enough. So that's just a word of caution there. So I have my print, and I'm just going to gently peel it off the cardstock. And there's a little piece that won't come up. Guess that was secured a little too well. As long as you're not tearing actually into your image though, you'll be okay. So I'm just going to go in this direction so I can see if I can get back to that edge to get this to peel off. There we go. And I usually just hang on to the tissue paper and pull slowly on the cardstock. Okay, so that's off now. Get those out of the way. Okay, so now I have my tissue paper prints. And I think I'm going to do one of these deer one first. So you'll just trim it out. This is not the best pair of scissors for tissue paper, but it's what's handy. You want to trim it fairly close to the edges. But on a white tissue paper, on a white candle, those edges are pretty much going to disappear because we're going to melt this image into the wax. This is such a cool process. I love it. I think when I first started doing it, I probably made 3 dozen of them. I mean, I just got addicted to it. Put that aside for now. Okay, so I have my image and it's curled up, but that's alright. So I'm going to do this on the ivory because I want it to have that vintage look. So I'm just placing it, setting it on there where I'd like it to be. I have a piece of parchment paper that I'm going to roll this up in. That I need to know that I have enough of the parchment to grab onto. So I'm holding each end, trying to hold each end, or each side of the graphic down onto the candle while I place it on top of the parchment paper, and I kind of center it. And now I'm pulling the parchment up tight around the candle, and that dropped down a little bit, so I've got to make an adjustment. I've done ones with the image that wraps all the way around the candle before. Those are a little tricky, but if they come out, they are just so cool. Okay, so I'm checking the placement of my image. You can see it through the parchment paper. I'm just going to curl this just a little bit, and I'm going to hang on to this tight, tight, tight. Because what I'm going to do now, and if you want to use an oven mitt, feel free to do so because this can get a little bit warm. I'm going to use my heat gun, and hopefully we'll be able to watch this work through the camera. Takes a minute for it to heat up, but you'll be able to see the wax start to melt. And I don't keep it setting on any one spot for too long, because it will alter the shape of the candle. Okay, I don't know if you can see it or not, but you can actually see the wax starting to melt. The image is changing and you can see the liquid underneath. I hope you can see it. But it was that fast. And I'm just going to double check before I pull this off. It looks like I've got the whole thing. And it doesn't take long to cool. So now we have the image that is under wax on the candle. A little bit of tissue paper up top, but once it fully cools, then I usually take a little piece of, or my X-Acto knife, and just lightly go along the edges. But I see here where an edge didn't quite melt, so I'm just going to stick that back in for a second. Wrap it up tight. And put the heat on it again. Okay, so I see where that corner got covered with the wax. So we should be good now. Okay. And there it is. So I'm going to do another one real quick on the white. Do one of these Noels. Just trim around. Doesn't have to be perfect because those edges again do disappear. Okay, so I'm getting my placement. And you can reuse the same parchment several times, but you want to make sure that any wax that's laying on it, you just brush that off. Wrapping it tight around the candle. Okay, so there it is before, and I've got a really good tight grip on it. So let's melt it on in there. hope you can see where the wax is actually melting over the image. Keep your heat gun moving. And it's that fast. Cool off for just a second. Unwrap it. And there you go. Easy peasy. Love it, love it, love it. So I hope you'll try it and have fun with it and show us what you do. And have a good time with it. There you go. Take care. See you soon. Bye-bye.